Season 4 is upon us, and this half anniversary that they're celebrating is pretty massive, and they went and buffed everyone. Besides, like, one or two characters. Like, I'm not even kidding, the entire roster here got buffed. Most characters, just their ultimates, but some characters actually did get some buffs and balance, and let me tell you, I can't remember everything off the top of my head. And I'm not going to sit here and just scroll through each and every single one of them. That would make this video take forever. So, what we're pretty much going to do here is we are just kind of... This tier list is going to be a little different than they have been in the past. Since this update is so massive, I kind of just want to give first impressions on some of the characters based off their changes and some of the recent results that I have recently seen from the big Squadra tournament. So we're gonna just kind of go from there. This is not an official tier list update. This is just feeling it out. First impressions, we're gonna figure it out, and then we're gonna place God Goku based off of current vibes, you know. So we'll get a little more in tune with the season the next time that we revisit the tier list, probably when the next character drops. But for now, we're just gonna kind of repivot this stuff around just off of feels and feeling alone. So we're gonna kind of like shotgun through. There's not many characters I really want to talk about too much because a lot of characters are mostly gonna stay the same. Just they're gonna perform a little bit better because their ultimates got buffed. So there's a lot of characters here that we're not really gonna move. There's just a few characters I want to talk about real quick, and then we'll get to God Goku. So let's just gonna get started. Ultimate Gohan. We can finally scoot him down. He got some buffs to kind of like help in a little bit more of a supporting role. He got a stun taken off of his kit. His skill 2 got nerfed. This character finally feels pretty good to play against. He's not this overly toxic character that makes me want to close the app immediately. Hey, you got a virus and threat protection thing going down. And he also matches up really well into God Goku. We'll talk about that a little bit more when we talk about God Goku. But Gohan fares pretty well. He feels a lot more tuned. He feels a lot more fair to play against thanks to this stuff. And he supports the team just a little bit more rather than just being an overly aggressive stun bot machine, you know. Yeah. So thankfully, we got some buffs for Gohan. We didn't get any adjustments to Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. And I still think I'm going to keep him there, specifically just because he's still very strong. I know Bardock has kind of been like the go-to tank for a lot of people, especially in the Squadra Blast, but I still stand by the fact that Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta's kit is just a lot more toxic. The way it could just instantly shut out a lot of characters because of the shield and the kick combination is just outright ridiculous. I still think this character is insane, and I feel like I'm really the only one in that camp, but I still stand by that. Bojack. This is insane. They gave him no vanishing on his skill 3. I'm sticking to my guns, dude. I think this character is insane. And now it matches up pretty well into Kefla because you're preventing their vanishing step. So all that vanishing step cooldown, you catch Kefla in that you're holding them there for that 0.5 seconds to just get slapped in the face by anything that Bojack is dishing out and your team. And you finally have a means of keeping Kefla down with Bojack, and he still matches up pretty well into God Goku. Because God Goku's big thing is that he's got a lot of continual damage. It's pretty crazy continual damage, but Bojack kind of just like, yeah, your health bar just still vanishes. I stand by that. We have every right to keep Bojack in our shit. Bojack is still pretty dead. Super Saiyan 3 Goku got buffed again. I think he's good to stay right where he is at. Bardock got an ult buff. Nothing else changed off the character, if I recall correctly. Still definitely one of the better tanks in the game. Cooler got his ultimate buffed. And it's nuts. It is nuts. Genuinely nuts. Like that thing, oh my goodness, man. It is genuinely insane. Another buff that I actually really like, I think is really cool, and this one, it's going to let me scoot her up to here because of the way that it works now. The Kale's skill 3 now has like an area of effect where it causes like burn damage, and that's actually really cool. It gives Kale a little bit more range and kind of gives her a means of keeping the opponent back and just like hitting through shields and stuff like that, which is really cool. I do really like that. Khalifa got some really great buffs where her shield now applies a movement speed debuff to the enemies and a really good buff to her ultimate. Like, genuinely, I think really solid. I think these are really solid buffs. We remember from the last time the tier list was ordered by role within the tier. I think Kale is, we'll put her right here behind Super Saiyan Goku for now. I think so. Trunks actually got some pretty nice stuff. I'm not gonna lie. I know he got a skill cooldown decrease on his skill 2. I know his damage got tuned back very slightly, but I think that's okay with what they're doing with his skills to make him just being able to use his skills just a little bit more is honestly just kind of better. I think that's a good call. I think it's a step in the right direction. We're finally getting some good stuff with Trunks. Cell's ultimate, yeah, man. Like I think Cell. I think they buff him one more time in the right way. I think it's all he got, if I remember off the top of my head. But that buff to his ultimate, where it comes out quicker, the barrier deploys faster, Cell can start acting quicker. Like, that buff is insane for a trapping ultimate like he got. Like, most characters were able to just walk out of it. Now, like, if you pop it at the right time, they are stuck and there's nothing that you can do. And I like that. And it's a very nice buff for Cell. So, characters like Broly, I am going to put Broly, like, up here now. I think he's still, again, as a reminder, this is mostly just feeling stuff out. I think he's a little worse than Piccolo still, because Piccolo is very strong. But the buffs that he got to his ultimate makes it more consistent and a lot scarier. Because the thing with Broly's ultimate before was that, like, yes, the damage is absurd on that ultimate. Don't get it twisted. But now it just kind of kicks off a lot quicker. There was always a point in time when Broly's damage was like a slow rise and then just boom with that ultimate. Now it's just kind of more consistently just hitting real hard, especially if you're closer to Broly. It's just hitting really hard right from the get-go. There's no build-up. It's just slamming you in the face. And I think that's a good step in the right direction for Broly. I think that's, especially with a lot of the results that we got from the Gekishin, the Squadra Blast, where Broly was used a good fair bit on a lot of winning teams. Like, this character, there is some merit behind this character. Same thing with Toppo. I'm going to put Toppo, I think I'm going to put Toppo below Oob. But the same thing with Toppo. I still think the character struggles because there's a lot of stuns and there are a lot of characters that could just bob out of his range. But with the ultimate getting buffed in the way that it did, where it comes out much faster, the explosion happens much faster, like that damage, that concentrated damage is just popping off a lot quicker. And I think that plays very much more to the character's benefit, because that makes the damage, or the dot damage that he had, just that much scarier, because the more stacks that you have, those stacks are blowing up much faster alongside his ultimate popping off a lot quicker. So I think these are some really nice buffs for these characters. I do think they both need a little bit of help against some of the rangies, but I think we're in a pretty good direction. These two, I'm going to let their buffs feel them out just a little bit more, but I think I can genuinely finally just get rid of this down here. I still think they both struggle in the current state, but I'm going to let things unfold a little bit more before I put my word in on these two. And then finally, the last character I want to talk about. I think, especially with the characters that we have here at the top, I think Vegito, 1,000,000% hands down, is one of the best attackers in the game. And that is simply because there's no character that is as tanky as Vegito, that deals as consistent damage as Vegito, with the movement that Vegito has. Like, we'll talk more about it for Goku's sake, but like a lot of those rangies that like to sit back and try and get away can't with Vegito. And most of their damage really comes in from having that distance where Vegito can close that gap instantly. Like, no one's business. He can close that gap and then keep them in and just out damage them, because he has the ability to do that damage close in where they're struggling to get away to try and play their game. Like, Vegito is the perfect counterbalance for this rangy meta. Because, like, look at this. Up here, the two best attackers, I still think Super Saiyan 3 Goku is insane. I got Bojack, and even outside of Bojack, Oob's making a great resurgence. Kefla's ridiculous. Piccolo is ridiculous if you leave them to their devices, and Vegito says no. He gets in, he plays his game, he puts them on there. Vegito gets in, he plays his game, he puts them on their ass. And I think he is the perfect counterbalance of a melee character to specifically deal with these rangies. I think he has his poor matchups into characters like Bardock kind of pulls him in, keeps him in, makes it a little difficult. Bardock could split him off from the rangies, keep him away from the rangies. Vegeta kind of keeps him down, but Vegito's game is very good. Now God Goku. We kind of got through the feeling part, the characters I really wanted to talk about. God Goku. Insane. This character is genuinely absurd. But I don't think he's best in role. Now, my reasoning for that is because unlike God Goku, or Super Saiyan 3 Goku, who can just instant transmission out, unlike Full Power Bojack, who has a very strong skill 3 to keep them off, unlike Vegito, who just has absurd mobility, Goku's got none of that. He's got great range and phenomenal damage at range, but if you can close the gap on God Goku, he's kind of smoked. If you have a character that can zip around God Goku to make it difficult for him to use the damaging skills he really wants to use, especially with the awkward X formation of his skill 1, the slow-ish turning of his skill 2, and his skill 3 not really doing much damage, and his ultimate being a hi, I'm right here button, which is very fast on activation, by the way. That ultimate does come out kind of quick. Like, if you have characters that can get around this stuff, like Vegito, like Kefla, like Oob, if you have characters that can... It's hard to describe this one for, like, in the case of the Gammas, but the Gammas can move around pretty well. Not to the case of these, but, like, if you have characters that excel from just, like, consistent movement to keep around Goku's backside, like, you're gonna find some good success. And that's pretty much primarily where his weakness comes in. And the main reason this is a weakness is because he is very squishy. He does not have a lot of HP. He's not that tanky, which makes sense. He's a rangy. He's not meant to have good HP as a rangy. So this is just my first impressions of the character. I think he is strong. I don't think he's the best in role. I think we're pretty solidified with our best attackers in the game right now. I could be wrong. God Goku could easily shoot up the next time we talk about the tier list, but that's just my first impression of the character at the moment. So now to wrap it up for this one, what do you guys think of Season 4 so far? What do you guys think of God Goku? I'd love to know what your thoughts are down below in the comments. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to y'all later. Thank you guys so much for watching.